Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you have been following my Spring Security series, you know we have covered JWT based authentication in the last video. But authentication alone is not enough. We also need proper authorization to control access to different parts of our application. In this video, I will walk you through implementing role-based authentication and authorization, ensuring that only users with the right roles and permission can access specific resources. We will cover password reset functionality, a crucial feature for any secure system. If you are new here or need a refresher, be sure to check out my Spring Security playlist where I break down everything step by step from authentication to securing APIs with JWT. Watching the full series will give you a complete understanding of Spring Security. Before we dive in, do not forget to like this video if you find it helpful. Comment below with any questions and subscribe so that you don't miss future videos on Spring Boot and security. Let us get started. So friends, in this video, I want us to go to authorization, that is role-based authorization. So in this case, we created a filter for authorization handler whereby any user who have no privilege or permission to access a particular resources will be filtered out. So if we go to JWT, there is this custom access denied handler. This is a handler that handles access denied for a particular resource, and it will respond with status code and the message that you don't have permission to perform this action. So in this case, I want us to go to our user class and write some code. So from the word go, I want us to be on the right page, that it is only admin who has the right to manage users. What can you manage in users? You can add permissions to user, you can disable users, you can view all users. All those are the permissions of the admin. So based on that, I want us to go to our user service and create an endpoint for us to view all the users. View all the users. So let us write this endpoint. This is a list of user. This is a list of user. Get all users. This method does not expect any parameter. Does not expect any parameter. We are going to also create one more method to get all roles. So I will say list of role get all roles in a system. The admin should be able to see all the roles in the system. So I also want to go and create one more method, void update user role. It is only the admin who should be able to update user role. So here there should be integer user ID. This is the ID for the user we want to update, and then the string role name. All these actions are performed by the admin. They are performed by the admin. So let us go into our user service implementation and implement those methods. Let us go and implement those methods one by one. Basically, for us to get all users, you just call a method user repository dot find all. That is it. For the roles, it is roles role repository dot find all. So these are straightforward JPA method. Now let us go to the last method, that is update user role. So basically we need a user. User is equals to user repository dot find by ID. We want to find by ID, and in that ID we pass the user ID dot or else throw. We are going to throw new runtime exception. New runtime exception. And what is the exception? User not found. User not found. So this will go and fetch the user for a particular user ID. Then now we have the user. We go to app role. App role is equals to app role dot value of role name. So we want to get the exact role name from the app role. Then we use that value to fetch the correct role from the roles table. So we will say role is equals to role repository dot find by role name. So we are going to find by role name app role, and basically dot or else throw. So we are going to throw new runtime exemption. New runtime exemption and say role not found. So no role has been found. Now after doing that, let us set. So we are going to say user dot set role, our role. We are going to set the role, our role. Then we are going to say user repository dot save. So the repository dot save user. So in this case, we have successfully updated the user role. Now I want us to go and create a controller, and this time round we are going to call this controller admin controller, because it is only the admin who have access to this controller. So I will say new Java class, and I will call this admin controller. Admin controller. This is a REST controller. REST controller. So we annotate this with at REST controller. At REST controller. And therefore we are going to give this request mapping at request mapping. So we are going to map this request to /API /v1/admin. So this is the resource we are going to map to the admin. Now, what are we going to do? I want us to get the user private final user service. User service. Okay. Let us inject this service inside our constructor. We have injected our service inside our constructor. Now I want to write an endpoint to get all roles. So I will say at get mapping slash role, not slash users. So this one will be public response entity. This response entity is of list of user. I am going to say get all users. It does not expect any parameter. Therefore, I will say return new response entity. Then inside here, I will say user service dot get all users. Then the status is HTTP status dot OK, because once you get all the users successfully, the status should be OK. Now I am done with this. I don't need to explicitly define the type there because our Java code is intelligent enough to know that this is of type list user. So now I am done with that. I also want us to go and deal now with the user role. So I want to copy paste that, and then I will say roles. So list of role get all roles. So service dot get all roles HTTP status dot OK. Now I am done with this. The last method that I want us to implement is update users role. Remember, we are going to update the users role, and for us to update the user role successfully, we must know the user. And we also must know the roles that are available. So this time round, you have learned about the various HTTP methods that we have. We have post, we have put, we have delete, we have get, we have patch. In this case, we are going to use a put mapping. So this put mapping, we are going to get a slash update user ID. We are going to pass the user ID on our path variable. So in this case, not user ID, but roles. We want to update roles. Basically, let us not use the path variable. We want to update roles for a given user. And I will say public response entity of this type, this response entity, I want this to return a string of whether the role has been updated successfully or not. So update user role. So what do we pass here? Inside here, we want to pass parameter at request param. So we want to pass integer user ID. We also want to pass at request param string role name. And we are done with this. Then inside here, we are going to say user service dot update. So I am going to pass the user ID and the role name. So that method will basically do the update. Then after updating, I'm going to say return response entity dot OK. Response entity dot OK. Then I pass the method there, user role updated successfully. User role updated successfully. So I am done with this. But now let me demonstrate to you what we have done so far. Let me run this code and let us do the actual testing of this on the postman correction. So I created a folder called admin, this admin, and I want to inherit something. I want to copy some code here, not some code here, some method here, get all users, want to duplicate this. Then I want to move this get all user inside my banking service, inside this admin. User banking, get all user management, get. So let me go inside the admin, put it there. So inside the admin there is get user. I want to remove this copy. So as you can see, this is localhost 8081 API v1 admin user. This should be rather 8089 because our application is exposing port 8089. As you can see from the logs, the application is exposing port 8089. So I want us to go to the body and the header. This requires you to be authorized. If I try to execute this request, see, the request could not be sent. Does that mean that my service is not up and running? 8090. Oh, 8090, it should be 8090, not 8089. So I want to execute that unauthorized. Full authentication is required to access this resource. So I will go and create an account. Let me create an account. So not basically not this account, but I need to put all these endpoints inside their own folder. So now I want us to go to auth, sign up, auth, sign up. So I have test user7@gmail.com. So I will say test user8, the same password. So let me use a creator. User has been created successfully. Now I want to use test user8 and I want to log in. So I have been able to log in successfully. Now I want to use this token to authenticate and view the list of users that I have, because the purpose of access token is to allow you to access a specific resource. So if I paste this token here, then I want to send this request. You don't have permission to perform this action. Forbidden. I don't know why it is saying forbidden, and I have not added any sort of forbidding to this API/v1/admin. So let me see. You don't have any permission to access. You don't have any permission to perform this action. These are forbidden error. And then I want us to go to what do you call it? I want us to go to that particular filter that does that good job of ensuring that anybody without permission cannot do that. So you can see you don't have permission to perform this action. This is custom access denied handler. Custom access denied handler. So these are custom access denied handler. And if we go to config, our security config, you will see that permitter, then there is custom access denied handler. So there is custom access denied handler. So reason why we are getting that particular error is because of this custom access denied handler. Despite the fact that you have auth entry point JWT, you have been able to log in successfully, you don't have the permission to access this resource. You don't have the permission to access this resource, this admin resource. What about if I put user/users? I also don't have permission to access this resource. So the question that I will ask is this: can I be able to do a transaction? Can I be able to do a transaction? Can I be able to do a transaction? I cannot be able to do a transaction. Full authentication is also required. So I need to pass a header called authorization. And this header is a bearer token. So if you have not yet gone through my entire Spring series, I would recommend you to do so. So basically, what will we do? We want to add some level of authorization, some level role-based authentication, because you can see that there are some role-based authentication that have already been enforced. But I want us to do this. Let us go to our admin controller and do something. I will add a notation at pre-authorize. So inside this pre-authorize, I will say it has role, which role should be allowed to perform this action. It has role admin. Has role admin. So I explained to you the meaning of all these annotation in a separate video. If you have not yet watched that video, please do that. This is the main purpose of this is for us to be able to access a particular resource based on our user's role. For example, in this case, for you to access anything inside this admin controller, you must have an admin right. You must have an admin right. That is a must. You must have an admin right. We can do it here. And at the same time, we can also do it inside our config file. Here, URL-based authorization. We can do it inside our URL-based authorization. URL-based authorization. We can do it here. So you can see we handled the exemption, the authentication entry point authentication JWT.access denied handler dot add filter before authentication filter, and this is username password authentication filter. Then we are disabling CSRF. Then we return that build. Okay. Now I want us to do a simple activity. I have a user I created a particular user, test user 7. I gave this user role admin. The moment this user logs in, you can see the user has got some role. This user has got role admin. So I want to use this access token for this user because this is an admin user, to see whether I can be able to access the list of users that we have. I did not intend this video to be wrong, but I can see we are still getting forbidden. We are still getting forbidden. I don't know why we are getting forbidden. Why should we get forbidden? Why? Secure enabled, pre-post enabled. We also have that in our config, pre and post enabled, true. We also have okay, admin controller. I don't know why this auth entry point JWT forbidden. You don't have permission to access this resource, but in the real life, in the real sense, we have the permission to access this admin. We have the permission to access this admin because it requires role admin. So API/v1/admin /API/v1/admin/users. Any other configuration? We don't have any other configuration. So basically, let us stop at that point. In the next video, we are going to do the actual troubleshooting. So